everyone, I'm Kevin, otherwise known as Forum BX257, your friendly neighborhood 1980s G.I. Joe reviewer. And by that admission, I am basically only a collector of really the 80s and 90s G.I. Joes. But people keep asking me about the modern G.I. Joes that have been put out recently. And last year I did do a vlog on the 50th anniversary G.I. Joes, which came out in 2 waves. And quite frankly, I thought that was going to be it. Hasbro didn't seem to be all that interested in putting out a 50th anniversary celebration of their brand, which pretty much put them on the map. So when they came out with the second series, just recently, everyone was kind of surprised. I was too. However, I'm going to be taking a look at this from a slightly different perspective as I did last year because, well, I've been hitting the toy shows and conventions quite a lot this year. So I've actually gotten my hands on some of these things. I didn't buy anything, but I did take a very good look. And I talked to quite a few people who, were generally interested in what was being offered this year. Now, it's still a rather small selection, which is out there, far smaller than what was out last year. And there aren't any vehicles even. So, this year was also, 2016, was the 50th anniversary of Action Man, basically G.I. Joe in the UK. So there's actually 12-inch figures out there for the 50th anniversary celebration of that. I know a lot of people were asking me about, it's like the 50th anniversary of the G.I. Joe brand name as a whole. Where are the 12-inch figures? Well, apparently the UK has you covered.
And in no particular order, we'll start with the Arashikage Clash 2-pack featuring Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. The Snake Eyes included here is a reissue of the 2011 Pursuit of Cobra Snake Eyes, including all the accessories, even the alternate head. The body seems more of an update of the 1982 style uniform, so I'm not sure why the 1985 style head was included in either release, but I suppose it's a continuation of the first movie look. The Storm Shadow figure included in this set is a reissue of the 2011 30th anniversary Renegade Storm Shadow, including all the accessories, even though it doesn't look like it. The original figure came jam-packed with little accessories, and the 50th anniversary style packaging actually hides the arrow, ninja stars, and red sash from view, but they are there. Also included is the alternate head based on the Renegade's animation style, which goes with the red sash. The colors of the accessories are a little bit different from the original release. Here the metallic weapons are a brighter silver, originally dark gunmetal gray. The arrow is unpainted black, originally it was silver, and the Arashikage logo on the quiver is bright red, originally a subtle dark red. Be warned though, many collectors are reporting that the backpack peg is smaller than the original and doesn't stay on. If you missed out on these two during the original run, here's a second opportunity, and most collectors consider them both decent figures, and well equipped, badly molded backpack peg notwithstanding. Next is the Heavy Conflict 2-pack featuring Heavy Duty and Stiletto. Heavy Duty is a reuse of many parts, like the larger body style shared with the 50th anniversary Leatherneck and Gung Ho, but is essentially an all-new figure, modernizing his 1991 first uniform look. He retains the guacamole Dorito camouflage pattern on his pants, tan t-shirt, has his trademark dual left bicep tattoos, and trades a backwards ball cap for a bandana like his later incarnations, but is easily recognized as the Joe's Heavy Ordnance Soldier. He comes with a selection of heavy, light, and saw machine guns for any occasion. The Stiletto figure is an interesting inclusion. Wait, who's Stiletto, you ask? She's a character from the recent Hasbro Kindle Worlds novels, making her first appearance in author Bill Nedro's G.I. Joe Body Count. But back to the figure. She mainly reuses the 2009 Agent Helix body with a new head mold that features her distinctive scar and white hair streak. Her accessories are appropriate, if a bit overused, a pair of swords and assault rifles. One interesting thing about the packaging is the mention on the front of Action Soldier for Heavy Duty and Action Marine for Stiletto. Nowhere else is this mentioned, and the file cards make no mention of this either. It is especially baffling as Stiletto is not a US Marine, and if you're up to date with the E-novels, she's not even a G.I. Joe member. I assume this was Hasbro's way of referring to the 1960s 12-inch line, whose 50th anniversary this really is for, without actually making 12-inch figures. Fans were really divided on this set, giving barely an okay to the heavy-duty figure, but initially hating the Stiletto figure. Reasons ranging from poor translation of Robert Atkins' beautiful artwork of Stiletto to 3D, bad clashing color choices, and then to wondering why we even got this fan fiction figure in the first place. Collectors have since warmed up to the figure, as the production samples actually seem to be better than the prototypes initially shown, and her inclusion has resulted in more fans becoming aware of the Hasbro sanctioned e-novels, and thus more aware of her incredible backstory. This 2-pack definitely caters to existing fans of each character though. Next, we'll take a look at the Mission Accepted 2-pack featuring Duke and Tombstone. Duke is a reuse of many parts and essentially an all-new figure. Hasbro went for a color scheme evocative of the 1983 light green and tan, but the production and release figures are way too bright, making it look like Duke is wearing Airtight's yellow and green jumpsuit. The heavily wrinkled and baggy arms and legs don't help either. The accessories are pretty boring as well, being your standard rifles and backpack. At least the head sculpt is well done, and he can be customized into a Blackwater type military security contractor. Tombstone is a brand new Cobra character, making his debut here. According to Hasbro, he is Duke's opposite number, an experienced Viper team field commander. Like Duke, he is mostly made up of parts from many other figures, but the head sculpt is unique. Unfortunately, he bears a scar and damaged eye that Stiletto also had. One per series, please, Hasbro. It's a nice sculpt otherwise. Prototypes shown had both eyes, which I wish they had kept, and many collectors still do like it. It seems a bit big for the body, but the overall look of black and dark blue with pops of white make for an interesting figure visually. His accessories are a bit standard as well, a bunch of generic rifles, none of which are distinctly Cobra issue however. Collectors seem to really like the idea of the Tombstone figure, essentially a modern take of Lieutenant Claymore from the 80s Sunbow G.I. Joe cartoons. However, the biggish head and the fact that you have to buy him with a strange looking Duke make for a very bottom of the list 2-pack. Next is the Sinister Allies 2-pack featuring an Iron Grenadier and a Viper. Basically, this is the same idea as the 2008 comic pack number 86. The Iron Grenadier included is exactly the same, a reuse of the armored Cobra Commander body with the same accessories. Recent versions of the Iron Grenadier have had a gray color scheme, so if you want the classic black and red colors, this is a great reissue. His partner in crime, the Viper Infantryman, is completely different to the one from 2008. This time it's a reissue of the 2011 30th anniversary Viper. He comes with all the same accessories as that version, same color scheme except the face shield is not chrome silver. In hand, it's really hard to tell though. The paint they've used is smoothly applied and super shiny. It's just not the mirror finish of the 2011 release. This is a great army builder set for those who missed out on the classic colored Iron Grenadiers, and the Viper included here is superior to the 2008 common version. Funny that they should call this set Sinister Allies, as comic pack number 86 was all about Cobra Vipers disguising themselves as Iron Grenadiers to blame Destro on a robbery planned by Cobra Commander. Next is a Zombie Patrol 2-pack featuring two identical Cobra Zombie Vipers. This is essentially a 2-pack of the 2011 30th anniversary Zombie Viper single card figure, reissuing all the same accessories too. Collectors were literally clapping when Hasbro revealed that they would be making this, as the original Zombie Viper was a sleeper hit and demand vastly outlasted supply. I recall when the Zombie Viper and the whole Compound Z storyline was implemented, fan reaction was bad. Zombies and G.I. Joe? What is this, a B-movie or a military line? Hasbro listened and dropped it, and references to it in the parallel released micro-figure line, and fans only came to realize how awesome it truly would have been after it was gone. Possibly the most anticipated set of the entire 50th line. You may want to grab a few even if you don't like the Walking Dreadnoks. So you see what I did there? Okay, I'll stop. Next, we'll take a look at the Cobra Legion 3-pack featuring a Saw Viper, a Bat, and a Cobra Officer. The Saw Viper is made up of various older parts and comes with the appropriate heavy machine gun and saw machine gun. The first and previous modern version of the Saw Viper was a convention exclusive, and many collectors feared that Hasbro wouldn't do this figure for retail. While the convention figure design stays more focused on the 1990 original, this is an excellent update, trading the odd fuchsia, maroon, and neon green for light purple, black, and translucent yellow. They did keep the convention's black burglar mask though. It definitely looks like a Saw Viper, and now the purple matches with other Viper cores, like the Techno Vipers and the Toxo Vipers. The Bat is the same figure we keep getting time and again, but it is a fan favorite, so it's alright I suppose. Unchanged since 2008, it comes with the obligatory interchangeable arms, the storage backpack, and a swappable battle damage chest plate. Where it is unique is the urban camouflage color scheme. Overall, the figure is very dark and subdued with pops of red, making it the most sinister looking version ever released. The Cobra Officer is the attention grabber of the set, being Hasbro's first generic female Cobra Trooper released to retail. With what looks to be an all-new upper body sculpt, Hasbro is really maximizing the tooling costs by sharing it with Shooter in the G.I. Joe 3-pack. Fans have long wanted a representation of the female Cobra Trooper Layla from the Sunbow G.I. Joe cartoons, and here she is finally. Hasbro even went the extra mile by giving her a blonde ponytail. Hard to see in photographs as the removable helmet is rarely removed. The rifle and bazooka are standard accessories for the Cobra infantry figures, but the inclusion of the 2010 Pursuit of Cobra Firefly's backpack and detachable mines make her equipment loadout look more interesting. If you're wondering why Hasbro made her an officer with distinctive silver Cobra symbol and black delta on the helmet instead of a low-ranking Cobra as she was on the show, your guess is as good as mine. Perhaps she is the squad leader to the Viper infantry, perhaps she's been promoted over the years. All I know is Hasbro can make a ton more just by coloring the hair different with or without masks painted over the mouths. Overall, I see this 3-pack as being quite popular with the first retail modern Saw Viper, a good-looking Bat variant, and a female army builder. Finally, the last set to look at is the G.I. Joe Special Forces 3-pack featuring Outback, Falcon, and Shooter. Outback's unusually large body is a curious mix of 2013 Ultimate Roadblock and 2015 50th Anniversary Gung Ho. His accessories are also largely borrowed from Ultimate Roadblock, except for his distinctive H&K submachine gun with strap. The last couple of releases of Outback were exclusives, so it's nice to see this figure at retail, even if he does look like Chuck Norris from Delta Force. But surely that's not a bad thing. Falcon's body is mostly made from the 2011 Slaughter's Marauders Falcon, with accessories from the 2008 Comic Pack No. 8 Falcon, also used in subsequent releases, but with the shotgun from 2014 Night Force Convention exclusive. His overall dark color scheme goes well with the others in the 3-pack, but the bright red bandana and green beret is a bit jarring. Like Duke's colors, I'm not sure Hasbro intended on them being quite so bright in production. Shooter is an interesting inclusion, as it's her first official retail debut here. As I mentioned before, Shooter's upper body utilizes the same new mold as the female Cobra Officer. For those unfamiliar with Shooter, the codename is first seen in the 1982 G.I. Joe comic No. 1. Originally meant as an in-joke for Marvel Comics editor-in-chief Jim Shooter, Devil's Due Comics in 2006 took this mysterious Extra Joe and developed her backstory for G.I. Joe Declassified No. 1. Admittedly, out of all the classic Army Men positions that the original 13-member Joes had, a sniper or rifleman is conspicuously missing. Although Scarlet is supposed to fill that role, her crossbow is by no means a Remington M700. Almost as interesting as this retcon character is her new sniper rifle. It is a takedown rifle that comes with a storage case, and I can see it being used for a modern 1990 bullhorn in the future. Sadly, many collectors have reported that it does not connect solidly, but it is an easy fix, let's be honest. While many collectors believe this 3-pack isn't a must-have, the rare appearance of Outback at retail and Dark Night Force team-like color scheme are definitely positives. G.I. Joe fans thought that Hasbro had given up on the brand after the first 50th anniversary series, so the June 2016 JoeCon announcement of a second series was quite a nice surprise. A very interesting selection of fan favorites and all new figures, but sadly no vehicles or playsets this time. The selection is smaller too. It seems Hasbro UK has it better than North America, as they're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Action Man, G.I. Joe as released by Palitoy in 1966 with actual 12-inch figures. While the lineup is only 6 figures so far, each is a great homage to the 60s and 70s Action Man brand. All the figures issued here will have realistic hair and gripping hands, equivalent to the G.I. Joe's lifelike hair and kung fu grip, meaning that the Action Man figures represent a 1970s release. Included is a basic Action Man soldier, the equivalent to the G.I. Joe Man of Action rather than the Action Soldier, and basic footballer, a sports figure unique to the UK. The next 2 figures fill the medium price point and equipment size. The British Infantryman, based on the G.I. Joe Soldiers of the World British Commando, and Frogman, based on the Action Sailor Navy Frogman. Both sets have anniversary releases before, the Frogman has had several in fact. But to be fair, nobody is going to say no to another scuba suit either, seeing as even reissues tend to disappear on the aftermarket. Finally, the next 2 figures are the highest price point with the largest equipment loadout, the Marine Paratrooper and Ski Patrol, both of which have direct North American equivalents with the G.I. Joe Action Marine Paratrooper and Action Soldier Mountain Trooper sets. While these were both reissued in previous anniversary sets, the G.I. Joe Paratrooper was only in an equipment set without uniform, and the G.I. Joe Mountain Trooper equipment was sold as multiple sets in a series. The Action Man presentation are complete sets, each with a figure, making them easy to army build this time around. This is definitely the way an anniversary set of the world's first action figure should be. Good job, Hasbro. Oh wait, this was only licensed by Hasbro. It was designed and made by Art Plus Science Toys International. Huh, well, that explains everything.